Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ben, and in this episode of the Smoking Hot Confessions BBQ podcast, I'm talking to a pitmaster who's also a master of building pits. Hey family, hope you're well wherever you are and you got that thin blue smoke rolling. This is episode 120 of the Smoking Hot Confessions BBQ podcast, and we've got an absolute cracker for those of you at home who love to DIY. Now, before we get into the show, I'm going to be just running a couple of announcements by you. The first one is that we have a free mini ebook available for you over on the Smoking Hot Confessions website. It's the Beginner's Guide to Real Barbecue. So if you're just at the start of your barbecue journey, you're just sort of getting into it, head on over to smokinghotconfessions.com, have a bit of a scroll around, bit of a click through, and a pop-up will come up. It'll offer you the free download. Put your details in there and we'll shoot it straight out to your email. Next thing is that the video format for the show now has gone absolutely crazy over the last 12 weeks. We've been running about a 3-month trial. And so we're looking at introducing some business partners now, some people who'd like to get some 60-second video clips into the episode here to get their barbecue message out to the masses. So if you think that's you, shoot me a message, ben@smokinghotconfessions.com, and let's get you sorted on that. And the last one is just a quick reminder, if you're watching this video on Facebook, give us a like and a share. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, a subscribe, and make sure you hit that little notification bell so you get notified every time we upload a new video. If you're watching on IGTV, give us one of those cute little hearts and a follow. And of course, if you're listening on a podcasting app, check out the app, see if you can rate and review us, particularly if you're listening on an Apple phone. The Apple ratings in particular are super important, so do give us a 5-star rating and a review there. That would really, really help us out. Okay, so today's guest, he's a man who's a champion of the barbecue scene in WA. He's a competitor, he's a pit builder, he's a caterer, and he co-owns a barbecue school. So we are talking to the one and only Jason Molly Meldrum tonight. So without further ado, let's get Jason in here.
This is the internationally awarded Smoking Hot Confessions BBQ podcast with your host, Ben Arnott. How long's it been since your last confession?
G'day, Jason. Thank you for joining me in the confessional tonight. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, not too bad at all.
Awesome, man. Tell me what's news. What have you been doing?
Oh, anything and everything to do with barbecue lately. It's with the whole way the world's going at the moment, barbecue really is pumping over here in WA.
Yeah, well, I was going to get into that just a bit later on, but let's get stuck right into it straight out the gate. Then I did see a message from Stephen Carter in the Smoking Hot Confessions barbecue community today on Facebook saying that things are going great guns for the barbecue scene. You got competitions and all sorts of stuff happening over there. Tell me what's going on in WA.
Yeah, well, there was a small backyard series yesterday. We're all back at Catering, and we did a pop-up today as Smash House Burger Co. in Fremantle. We got a KCBS full series competition next September 18th, 19th, so next month, down at Bunbury for Ryan's Meats. And then we're back doing our schools, all basically just as normal over here in WA.
Oh, that's great that life has gone back to normal there, and you do get to start having those KCBS comps. So will that comp in Bunbury, will that be the first one, like the first KCBS comp for the year?
Yeah, well, not for the, no, so we had one, I think in January or February, had the Governor's Cup over here at the Governor's House. That was I think it was only a 12-team one, but this is the first one since the COVID stuff really started.
That's got to be a good feeling to be able to get back in the saddle there.
It definitely is, and all we want to do is have comps. So we don't care how we get them, as long as we get them.
Yeah. So just give us a bit of a rundown on the barbecue scene there. So you got KCBS and the Backyarder series. What else is going on there?
There's not we got the schools that we're doing at the moment, and obviously building me barbecues and stuff, catering. But a lot of guys have been, I suppose, doing a lot of extra cooking at home, and now they're going to get to use it all out in the competitions. There's lots of new teams coming up over here too now as well. I think there's about probably nearly 50% of the field in the next competition is new teams.
Wow, that's so cool.
Oh, it really is too. And Guy, there's a couple from our Pitmaster University have started up their own teams as well.
Yeah, that's what you want, man. You want to see your students get out there and get amongst it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's back things up a little bit. Tell me, what was the last thing that you barbecued for yourself?
Oh, for myself, probably jalapeno and cheese snags.
Oh, nice. Did you make them yourself as well?
Something simple. We're just trying a different mix. And on a Friday at workshop, while we're actually building a new trailer for personal use. So we just do a little bit of barbecuing for ourselves while we're working.
Oh, heaps good. That sounds amazing. Although I have never actually tried a jalapeno cheese sausage, given that I get massive migraines from cheese. But I see the photos and it just looks divine. They cut through those sausages, the cheese comes oozing out. It actually makes me wonder, would it be worth it to have the migraine just to try eating that sausage?
Oh, there's a couple out there, but there's probably one or two that would be worth having a go at.
And so, what is the barbecue that you have on your back deck there at home?
I've got a few. We've got the mini me, which is probably the smallest barbecue I've ever built for the son. That's offset that is only 4 inches diameter by 12 inches long. It's really, really small. Then I've just got an Acorn, a Weber Junior, a drum, an offset, and that's all I've got at the moment.
Your back deck sounds a lot like mine.
Yeah, well, then I've also got a workshop that has probably another 10 smokers there as well.
Yeah, no doubt at all. I did see photos of that little mini-me, and I was I'm surprised to hear that it's actually functional. I thought that was like a trophy or a decoration piece or something.
No, he cooks salmon in it quite regularly. The son, lamb rack, sausages. We've done pork ribs in there.
Very nice.
I think he even did. We were going to have the kids competition over here for the Brew and Q, and he took that to the competition to use on it, but they gave him Weber Joes to use instead. But he was all set to cook a steak for a competition with a reverse sear in the firebox and everything. But like I said, it was all into the Weber Joes for that.
Oh, right. And so did that throw him off, being forced onto a machine he wasn't familiar with?
It did. He wasn't impressed because he's just like me. He loves the offsets. I've got one son that loves competition, one loves catering, and he came along to the comp all ready to go with his own offset and everything, and he had to use what was given to him. Yeah,
so good, man. That's awesome. Now, you did mention your shop there before, where you got like another 10 smokers on the go. That's Southern Ocean Smokers, of course. Tell us a bit about how you got into building pits.
Well, the wife bought me a char griller many years ago for a Christmas present, and I thought, oh yeah, this is pretty good, and did the old smoke away and make a bushfire coming out of it, and thought it was great. And then I saw the movie Chef, and Aaron Franklin was on there, and I saw one of his barbecues. I've got a fab shop, I can make that. So we just started making them. And then we went to our first competition, took out People's Choice Award, and then had about 3 or 4 people ask if I can make them for them. So that's how it started.
That's so good. And you mentioned that you already had a fab shop. So has the smoker business completely taken that business over now, or are you still running the two, like, multiple jobs out of the fab shop?
I'm still running multiple jobs. I used to run barbecues about 5 to 10 hours a week. That was it. That was, I'd only book in that much. But now I'm at about 35 to 40 hours a week out of a 50-hour week building barbecues. So I'm actually booked till Christmas at the moment.
Wow. So how many do you think you've turned over?
Well, I got in the beginning, I was just getting generic gauges. Then I've actually got my own gauges made, and I've put out over 50 of my own gauges. So that's how I'm sort of measuring how many I've done. Most barbecues only get one. The bigger ones obviously get more. So I had about 25, maybe 30 of the other gauges. So I reckon about 50 barbecues I've done now.
Wow, that's awesome. So the barbecue scene really is growing fast over there then.
Well, it's not so much that. I sent them over east as well.
I did see that. Now, did that big blue one that you made that I love, did that end up coming over here?
No, there was 3 guys looking at it, but then logistically and COVID sort of come about, and I still have it. I don't need to sell it. It was just, it's taking up space. It's more a space thing, but now I've moved to a bigger workshop, so it's not really a necessity.
Well, there you go. Then you can justify it to the wife that way. You have to keep it now.
Yeah, well, that's what I reckon.
Well, because nothing's going to look worse to the customers coming into a smoker shop if it's empty.
Oh, no, that's all right. I won't never have that problem. I think at the moment I've got six offsets on the shop floor. I've got a cabinet just starting to get made. I have 2 trailers in there and another one coming along.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's quite the range there, which was kind of leads into what I was going to ask you next was, do you have a particular specialty, a particular type of smoker that you love to build?
Yeah, it's just a traditional offset. Anything I make, I always try and make to run on straight wood. I don't like charcoals. I don't like other fuels. Everything I try and run on straight jar. Even my cabinet smokers, they run on straight wood.
Really? What have you got against charcoal and briquettes?
Nothing. It's not so much that. It's just what I started with, and I got used to using it really well. And I think you can get just as good as results out of wood in timelines. You don't have to, be feeding every 20 minutes. I think that's a big myth out there. If you build a good quality pit, you can get a lot longer out of a piece of wood.
Interesting. But how does it pan out with the cabinets? If you're trying to shove logs into a cabinet, because I thought the whole point of a cabinet was you'd fill it up with charcoal and briquettes at the bottom and let it run for 20 hours and not have to worry about it.
I can get about an hour out of a cabinet, but the cabinets I've built haven't been very small. Nothing I seem to do ever is very small. We did one that was 2.2 meters wide by 800 deep. So you can really fit a lot in there. It has 22 racks in it.
Wow.
Yeah. And each rack would have probably taken about 8 briskets. I never got to cook on it. It's in South Australia at the moment. That would have taken, probably 8 briskets a shelf.
That's incredible. I think that's bigger than a Myron Mixon H2O, isn't it?
Yeah, it was big. It took a forklift to move it.
That's cool. So what is the biggest smoker that you've made to date then?
I would have to say it'd be the 1,000 gallon I did for Big Don Smoked Meats. That would be it. The cabinet was very big as in how much it would take, but the physical size would have to be that 1,000 gallon, and it'd have to be the coolest one I've built.
Yeah. So how many briskets would you reckon would fit in 1,000 gallon?
Oh, look, Don would know more of that. I've never got to cook on one. I'm pretty sure he'd be around because it's got a second shelf through it, possibly 50. But it all depends on the size of the brisket too. We don't get huge briskets. We're 5-6 kilo on your average. Now we've got Costco over here. We'll get bigger briskets, but you get 5-6 kilo briskets over here is your average. That's
got to be a huge win for the barbecue scene, getting your first Costco. Are you all sort of crossing off the days on the calendar till it opens?
And ribs, that's it. The American cheese, buying Jack Daniels in a litre bottle, so easy, 1.75. Hey, it had me at that.
I actually, I first was introduced to Costco when I was living in Korea because it was the only place to go to get imported beer and steaks. You just couldn't get beef steaks at the butcher shops there.
Yeah, well, what they brought over here, I suppose it's just opened us up to, I suppose, pork ribs is the big winner over here. So especially for competition.
Yeah, cool. And so Big Don's, he's quite the personality. I met him when I was over there in Perth in 2018, which was the same competition I actually met you at there.
Yep.
So the question that I want to ask, I guess, is more to do with his smoker. Was that one on a trailer for you? Like is his a mobile setup or is it a stationary?
Yeah, so he's got 2 mobile setups for me and a fixed setup. So he actually has a 500 gallon, 1,000 gallon, and an 800 gallon. The 800 gallon is made as the one for a restaurant. It's on a trolley. The 500 was his first one, which was mobile, which was one of the very first pits I built for a customer, so to speak. He rang me up, this is what he wanted, so we built that for him. And then the 1,000 gallon was the last one we delivered to him November last year.
Wow, so he's booming then if he's got those 3 big ones.
Oh, look, you can't the amount he does is just phenomenal. He really does cook a lot of meat. I'm surprised he doesn't have his own farm breeding his own cows at the moment, the amount he's going through. He's definitely the person to beat over here. If you want to be a caterer, you aspire to cook what he does. He normally fills all 3 pits every week. And if it's not once, it's twice over.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. Yeah. So you just mentioned that you had built one on a trolley, one on a trailer, and one that was stationary built. Is there a difference in design for those individual smokers? I mean, obviously the mountings are going to be different, but Are there different considerations like how heavy the firebox has to be or like for what kind of stand they're on?
I try never to compromise on the actual smoker itself. So I always build the smoker first before I start on a trailer. Obviously, with a bigger firebox, it's going to be different where you mount it on a trailer. I try and always make sure that the smoker is built how it needs to be built. I don't try and compromise anything like that. There is certain things that we have to do, a little bit more insulation here. But, it's not that much different.
Yeah. So what do you think has been the most interesting build that you've had to date?
I would have to say that 1,000-gallon, that was different building something so big. It really tested the workshop I was in. That's another reason we've moved. It was quite difficult being in a small fabrication shop trying to build something that was so long. I think there's photos of me standing on it and it even makes me look very, very small. That was definitely by far the hardest build, just is in physical size when the firebox was 1 metre by 1 metre.
Wow, that's huge. Yeah.
I actually could sit in the firebox when I had to weld it up.
That's awesome. So 1,000-gallon tank, what's that in sort of metric dimensions, like meters wide?
4.5. So in metre, it's 1 metre diameter by 4.8 meters long.
God, that's huge.
Yeah, it really is.
Does it get trickier to build the bigger the
not so much tricky. It's just making sure that you've got everything lining up. I'm pretty lucky. I have access to a lot of size of pipes over here, so I can make whatever firebox I need. The chimneys, I normally run a little bit of stainless, so that's my touch. As I use stainless chimneys, bit of stainless strapping and stuff like that. So it's not too difficult. You just got to always remember to get the right draw. So, and I always play with every smoker that goes out. I'll always do a test burn, make sure they're running how I want them to run.
Okay, so your customers actually get them like pre-burnt in, ready to go.
Pre-seasoned in, yeah. Because I never build the same smoker twice. So everyone's always got a little bit of custom. I have lately been building 20 inches very similar because I've had a run of 20 inches. Lots of people, I suppose, can't travel, can't go and spend their money as they used to. So now I think I've 20 inches I've done over the last couple of months. So they are all relatively the same.
Yeah, fair enough. I can certainly understand that. So what would be the dream build for you? Like if someone came in and said, right, Molly, here's a blank check, make me the best smoker in WA.
I'd have to be an offset straight away, 1,000-gallon offset. There's a few tweaks I'd want to do. And if there's a blank check, I would go to town. I've been priding myself in my paint jobs lately. We've spent a lot of time and effort trying to get shiny paint jobs. I've always wanted to do an airbrush one with the American flag over the top. I'm never going to get to do it for myself. That's a big undertaking. But if someone wanted to give me a blank check, I'm more than happy to do it.
Got a project you'd like to work on with the SHC team? Shoot Ben an email on ben@smokinghotconfessions.com and let's have a conversation.
Alrighty, so now the second sort of aspect or your attack on the barbecue scene is your catering company. We've mentioned it a couple of times already. Give us the name and tell us how that got started.
That's Smashed As Burger Co. It sort of started on our front lawn cooking one of our pitmasters. What are we going to have for the Friday night while we're cooking? We'll have some burgers. And what do you like when you're really drunk and you're smashed as? You want a burger. So we like to drink a little bit while we're cooking, and we started burgers, and we thought, this seems much quicker, much more fun than, I suppose, cooking 24 hours before a service. So that's how Smashed As Burger Co. sort of popped up and started. And also something that my whole family can do. So my wife and my kids come and help out. And the barbecue team, the Molly's barbecue team, they've all come over and they help out as well. So it's just been a little bit of fun. It all just started on the front lawn of my house.
That's so good. See, I actually figured that the Smashed As part of the name was probably more to do with the method of cooking. I figured they were all smashed burgers. I didn't realize it had to do with your beer intake.
Yeah, they all were smashed burgers, but we thought Smashed As, that's, I don't know if it's a WA bogan thing, but we like to drink and eat at the same time.
I don't think that's particularly limited to WA, my friend. So is it just burgers that you do, or have you got like a bit of a wider barbecue menu?
We're building a new trailer at the moment, a 7.5 meter fully enclosed trailer, we've been doing a lot of fried chicken, as you might have seen through Pitmaster University. So we'll be doing fried chicken, burgers and ribs.
Oh, very nice. It's basically like
a big cabinet smoker on the back of the trailer, then with obviously a hot plate and a couple of deep fries.
Yeah, very cool. So that's it's going to basically be like a classic American diner on wheels.
Well, yeah, hopefully. And if all goes well, we're going to sell up everything here and go around Australia and sell barbecue.
Oh, wouldn't that be the dream?
So that is the dream of our family. We only decide probably at the beginning of this year is just to pull up stumps and let's build this massive big trailer.
Right. So does the trailer have living quarters in it then, or will you get like a
we're going to get a
motorhome or?
Yeah, motorhome, tow it around and just travel and no destination, just keep driving.
That's cool. I guess, of course, the borders are going to have to be opened up before then, although WA is very big. You got a long ways to go around WA.
Yeah, well, we still got to build a bus. So we're ages away. It's a long-term plan. It's not going to happen overnight. We've got kids in school and stuff. So, but that's still sort of our little home goal for the family. First port of call is building the trailer, and that's what we're on at the moment.
Mate, that would be so awesome. I guess the question that all the listeners are going to be asking is the shop big enough to fit a bus in, or are you going to need a bigger shop?
No, it'll get, the shop is definitely big enough in here, but then as soon as we're done, we're gone. That's it. We're on the road. So it won't matter after that.
Just lock the shop up and get back to it
pretty much
in a couple of years.
And see where we go. Every year we travel to Caterer for a big festival, and we love it every year. So we thought we'll just get going.
Yeah. So would you homeschool the kids then, or would you like?
Yeah, definitely homeschool. We've already gone down and we've got that path. One of our sons, he's autistic, so it's going to help him in life. He actually comes to all my pop-ups, and he's been learning to build burgers for us.
Oh, great.
So he's doing really well. So that's how it all sort of come about. The catering is something for our family to do.
Yeah, right. That's really interesting stuff. Yeah, I guess as a teacher by day, I've seen the education industry in the last literally 6 months sort of swing from being traditional classroom to being online. So you may not even need to do homeschooling. You could do online learning from the road.
Well, and every time we go up in October, we always ask, we take 2 weeks off and we ask the teachers, do you want to give them a work pack? And they say, you know what, they're going to learn more on the road anyway. They're fine. Just do a little bit of daily stuff with them. And they do. They absolutely have a ball, and they probably do learn more on the road.
Oh, that's awesome. Don't tell my wife that, though. She's been trying to get us to do something similar.
No, you got to do it.
Yeah, it'd be once in a lifetime, that's for sure, yeah. So what do you think then, just looping back to Smash Daz Burger Co., what do you think then is the ultimate burger?
You know what? Just a really simple, classic cheeseburger, but a double. That's it. There's nothing. Don't need no fancy. Don't need anything over the top. No fancy sauces. Just a really good quality double cheeseburger. And you know what? That's enough for me.
Yeah, I've seen some of your photos. They look awesome. So when it does come to making those patties, is it brisket mince? Do you blend it with pork? What do you like to do?
No, it's all beef mince. It's it's brisket and chuck, and then there's another meat in there that we don't disclose.
Oh, okay, all right. Similar to hot dog meat. It's that mystery meat.
That's that mystery meat. It's a 70-30 mix, so it's 70% meat, 30% fat. But the Ryans, who are our sponsors, they've worked really hard, and they've got us exactly what we want.
Yeah, that's really awesome that you can do that. I was playing with some mince here a few months ago, and I had some leftover pork belly, which I'd trimmed and frozen in the freezer, and some leftover brisket. And I went, I'll just chuck them together and see what happens. So it was basically a 50-50 coarse ground brisket and pork belly, and it was so good. It was amazing. The texture was really interesting.
Put a dash of lamb in there next time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's a little bit of lamb. So that's me. I like it. It just sweetens it up a little bit.
Okay, that's quite interesting. It'd sort of, I guess because lamb's quite a rich flavoured meat, it'd sort of really richify that up, if you like.
Yeah, so you only want a little bit, but.
Yeah, sure. So you like your meat and cheese on your hamburgers, 2 meat patties, 2 cheese.
Yep.
What is a must not have on a burger for you?
No, there's nothing really out there. I'm pretty open to whatever people want. I get some really weird requests and we do anything. Probably salad. You don't make friends with salad. I do a lot of dirty burgers with bacon and all sorts of different sauces and stuff like that, and fried onion jams and stuff. But salad's sort of not one I've got into. I can't stand tomato on a burger, but yet I love tomato sauce. So the salad part, for me personally, I don't see why it should be on there.
Yeah, fair enough. So you mentioned that you get some pretty wild requests there for the burgers. Tell us a bit about some of the more far out there requests you've had.
Oh, we've done a monster box, which one of those burgers came about it was everything in our monster box we did through Molly's, which was brisket, pork, beef rib, patty, and then he wanted chicken wings pulled apart and put on there as well. And I'm like, mate, you're never going to be able to eat this. And you know what? He demolished the whole thing.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And then the other one was the ground and pound challenge burger that we came up with. Someone said they could do 5 patties. And I said, oh, if you can do 5 patties, let's do it. So it's a pound of ground beef. So we do 5 patties, 5 slices of cheese, 5 slices of bacon, and some wings with that. And he thought he could eat it, but he couldn't.
Oh, right. Oh, thank God. I thought you told me he got through it. I was going to say, geez, his cardiologist is going to love him next week.
Yeah, he got about halfway through it and then buckled.
Was there a prize associated with that? Was there some kind of challenge?
He just wanted to try and show off in front of his friends at a pop-up we had when we very first started up. And it's sort of stuck now. There's a few people. One guy on our team, Bundy, he's actually finished one. He did it quite quickly too, but he's a bit of a big fella and he likes to eat.
Just a bit of a spin-off question. Is that Bundy from Sandgroper Barbecue?
No, that's Boyd.
Boyd, sorry. Okay, yeah.
No, Bundy's on my barbecue team. So I've got Leroy, Bundy, and myself that are still current, but we actually had another guy, Will. He's in Port Hedland now, and Ben, he's over in Queensland. So our team's getting spread out over Australia at the moment.
Well, I'm going to interview somebody next week who's got a bit of an interstate team, so you might want to look into doing that as well. You can fly over here and do some comps over here and fly back over there and do some comps over there.
We're going to go on the road and do it from on the road, mate. So we don't even need to fly anywhere. We'll just drive there.
Good point. I can just see you planning out the map now based on competition dates.
Yeah, just don't tell the wife that part.
Yeah. The KCBS calendar, though, is a bit difficult to sort of plan out that far ahead.
It is at the moment. It just is what it is. So we're not really too fast. If a comp comes up, It's I went a lot further than I ever dreamed I would have in the competition series. I only was ever going to enter one, and then it kind of just snowballed from there.
It always does.
Oh, it does.
Oh, that's awesome. So, okay, tips for building an awesome burger, like the photography-worthy instant Instagram famous burger. How do you go about putting together a photo-friendly burger?
Stunt burgers?
Stunt burgers, yes, that's a much better term than what I was trying to stumble through. Yeah,
look, there's a lot more concentration on a normal burger. If you really want to try and, a stunt burger, you can pick them a mile away. It's not what you normally get. It's not what you eat sort of thing. You can see that the pickles have been strategically placed and the sauce is drizzled over strategically. Some of our burgers we just build and then they become stunt burgers. Some of the guys on the team want to try something a little bit different. You go, wow, that looks good. Let's set it up on a nice board and get some good lighting and take a photo. They are more fun. For every stunt burger you see, trust me, there's a lot being pushed to the side that didn't make the cut.
Just falls on the floor.
Yeah, it falls on the floor. You know what? That looks too good. Let's just eat it. The old, sorry, I ate it before I took photos. That happens quite regularly.
Just a couple of crumbs left on the plate and photograph that, put that on Instagram.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we should really photo.
Are there any tricks I'd imagine getting some like kebab skewers and sticking that down through the middle to make everything stand in line? And
yeah, you'll see them. There'll be a pickle sitting on top of a burger. Well, someone's really got a skewer through that and they've hidden the top of the skewer with a pickle. When you make multiple burgers, like multiple patties, I actually make obviously the bottom one a little bit bigger than the rest, and you can make them tiered, and there's lots of little tricks. Really, you just got to get in there and do it, and make sure she doesn't fall over, mate.
Yeah.
That's the biggest one. They seem to fall over a bit if you want to go too silly, too high.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. So when you say that you make the bottom one bigger, I'm assuming that's in diameter then, not height?
Yeah, no, in diameter, I normally have it so it's hanging over and you can't see the bottom of the bun.
Oh, okay.
Just look nice lacy edges, just drizzling over. Or if we do the fried chicken, I actually did one during COVID. It was a bunless burger where I'd use fried chicken as the bun instead, and I had brisket in the center. Did have salad in that one, because what else are you going to put when there's only fried chicken and brisket in there? You got to have something. So there was cheese and lettuce in that one. Oh, look, some of these burgers I see out there, there's no way you can eat them. You have to take them apart. I think I went to one place and he had mac and cheese as the buns, and he had pork belly in there, and he had brisket, and he had patties, and then pulled meats. And I'm like, oh my God, it's a whole meal just stacked as a burger.
I've seen that sort of thing. They sort of press the mac and cheese into a patty and then deep fry it so it all holds that shape.
Yeah. So we've never gone down the mac and cheese path. I'm not a fan of mac and cheese, so I don't normally cook anything I don't like.
Yeah, fair enough. My wife does love mac and cheese, being American, but she's a bit odd. She only likes the Kraft, I think it is. It's the blue box, and it's got to have
not the Easy Mac.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, my kids love Easy Mac. I try and make mac and cheese like I would for a pop-up, and then, no, we'll just have Easy Mac, thanks. Geez, I put all this love into it, and they'll just go out and get a Kraft Easy Mac.
Yeah. If it doesn't taste like plastic, she doesn't want it.
Pretty much.
It's very strange, very strange. Okay, so you have mentioned a couple of times the barbecue school, BBQ University. Yep. You are co-owner of that with the one and only Mr. David Ong, I believe.
Yep.
So the first question that I want to know is, do you get a word in when you're working with Ongie?
Look, he'd love to have me out there more often, but I'm just not a public speaker. Maybe a couple of pints in, and I'll come a little bit more friendly and speak a bit. But he's the brains, and I'm the brawn out the back cooking away. I cook all the barbecue. He does a little bit in front of everyone. It really works well. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
So you're the drummer down the back, bloody sweating and getting it done, and he's the lead singer out the front.
He's
just
the lead singer.
Stuff.
He's up the front. He loves it, and I reckon he could talk underwater.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. So give us the rundown on how you got into that.
I was cooking at a restaurant and a restaurant pub down where I live. He wanted to do a masterclass. I said, yeah, man, come down to a masterclass. That's no problem. Ran it past the bar manager there. She was like, yep, this sounds good. And then it sort of just snowballed from there. And he goes, oh, you want to go out and do this more often? I'm like, okay, yeah, sounds pretty good. So and that's how Pitmaster University sort of started. He'd been running a few classes by himself for a couple of years, and then sort of just wanted to go bigger and better. And the demand was there. The demand's absolutely phenomenal over here.
Wow.
So then, yeah, that's how it sort of started, and we haven't looked back since.
Yeah. So when you say that you were cooking at the restaurant, were you cooking for his class at his restaurant?
No, I was cooking for a restaurant. I'd go in every Friday night and cook through till Saturday morning and serve up. It was something they wanted to get into, but it didn't really work out. I don't like to compromise, and there was a few things I wanted to compromise on, so we parted ways. That was it. Sorry, didn't want to. And then I said, David goes, well, you want to keep doing classes? I love cooking, so yeah. So that's how we kept doing the classes.
Yeah, right. So as long as the fire's burning, you're there. So there's a whole bunch of teams out there now doing masterclasses and all that sort of stuff. What sets BBQ University apart from everybody else?
Not so much we're apart. We're friendly, we're open. There's nothing that's sort of hidden. It's more suited to your beginners, not really anything to do with competition barbecue. But then we also show on a variety of different barbecues. So obviously we've got the big offset there that I'm running out the back. Then we've got about 5 or 6 different other small barbecues that we show. And we go around from different venues, and we just sort of travel. There's nothing really locked in. we're not as politically correct as we should be. We like to have a bit of a joke. Me and Dave and I have a good little banter thing going on, and we get just as many comments on that as our barbecue sometimes. We don't mind to stitch each other up while we're doing the class as well. So it's pretty fun, loose, family orientated too. We get a lot of kids coming along, a lot of wives as well, not just the men. So, and I take my kids; they come and help me as well. So it's just good family fun.
That's what it's all about, mate. I really like hearing that. So when you say that it's not the most PC, it's also still obviously family friendly, and
it's definitely family friendly.
No one's going to get upset.
No one gets upset. It's all just a bit of fun. There's no terms. It's got to strictly be called this and strictly be called that. It's thin blue smoke and it's rolling and we're having fun, and we just try and teach people if it's hard, you obviously going a little bit wrong. It shouldn't be hard. It should be fun. It should be very communal, and you should be able to show everybody and just share the love of barbecue.
Yeah, you've definitely covered all the pillars there. That's really cool. So give us a bit of a rundown on an average class then. Like what do people learn? Do you do 7 proteins in a day? What's it all like? How does it all run?
Well, we start off and we show them smash burgers. That's the very first thing they get to see. We show them trimming of beef ribs, how to do also with our offset. A lot of people who come to our classes say they've got a really strong smoky flavour to their meat, and then they eat ours and they're like, oh, well, there must be something special. What have you done different? I said, no, we haven't done anything different. We've just the main rub we use is just salt and pepper on just about everything throughout the class, and everyone's like, nah, there's got to be something secret in here. So we actually show it in front of them. As much as everything they get to eat at the class, we actually show them how we prepare each meat in front of them and stuff like that. So, and then we do also low and slow and hot and fast, saying, look, there's different ways. You don't have to just be stuck with one way. There is different ways to barbecue. And that lamb ribs, which is something we show over here because we enjoy lamb ribs. Reverse sear caveman. A lot of people think you can't put your meat straight on your charcoal, or with the right charcoal you can. So we do a caveman. And brisket as well. Everyone loves brisket. So we show them how we do a bit of brisket and pulled pork and just different things. And we mix it up. We don't always keep it the same. If I've got a competition coming up, I'll actually show a little bit of comp stuff. That's about the only time you'll get competition stuff at one of our classes. It's a bit of an extra.
So does that give you a bit of an opportunity to prepare all your competition meets ahead of time?
Yeah, so if I'm, not really going too well on a protein, I may slip one in at a course just to get a bit of feedback from the students, and they can be pretty critical after a few drinks, so it's always good.
Yeah, the honesty always comes out when you're about 4 or 5 beers in.
And that's what we need. A lot of the judges don't actually tell you where you're going wrong. They'll give you a score, but they won't write down if it's just a little bit you chase, and they won't tell you. So the best way is to go give it to a whole heap of drunk people, because they'll sure tell you real quick.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. Yeah. Right. So you got like so many different things on the boil at the moment. You got those 3 different angles there. What's coming up in the future now? You mentioned the long-term future before with the trip around Australia. What are you sort of looking to tackle? I mean, you've still got 4 more months left of the year. That's like 4 more new projects for you.
No, I am seriously, I don't think I could take on another project at work. Even in life, we're booking out November now for gigs already. Even looking in December for Christmas parties, we've only got a few spots left. So where when I first started, I would only have booked about a month out. I'm booking 4 to 6 months out now.
Wow.
If I'm looking in July, if I'm not looking at December, obviously not out there on social media enough. I never thought it would be like that, especially with pit building. I really thought there was only X amount of barbecues that Australia would want. Every time I think that it's dried up and, okay, I've built every trailer barbecue I'm ever going to build, I'll get another order or 2 orders. The current one I'm about to start building in the next couple of weeks are a little bit different for me. It's got a few extra features I've never done. So I'm always doing new stuff as well.
Well, that's got to keep it interesting for you at least.
Yeah. But the great thing is I get to, the projects are other people's projects too. So you get to see the joy in their face when they get a new barbecue or they roll up. I send them little screenshots through the build, but then at the end, I don't really send them anything till they come pick it up.
Yeah, and that look of joy on their face when they see it, that's really got to make your day.
Oh, it does. And then also when they put it up on Facebook and everything, where did you get that from? That's something a little bit different. It's good. And especially when there was a guy, Kalgoorlie's about 800 Ks away from us. He come down, he bought a barbecue and drove it home, and he rang me up and goes, I took a little longer to get home. I said, why is that? He goes, I got pulled over 4 times. I said, well, what happened? He goes, well, people just wanted to look at the barbecue. Oh, okay, well, that's a little bit different.
So the police pulled him over just to have a sticky beak?
No, it was just general public. Every time he'd stop somewhere to fill up or, he'd have to stop and talk about it. And he goes, yeah, mate, everyone loved it. It was great. So, especially when we used to steam down the road with we had 2 big blue barbecues over here. The one that you saw, there was another one exactly the same as that. And we were towing them at the same time up the middle of the freeway. And the amount of looks we get when there's 2 big blue smokers going down the road.
Yeah, that's awesome. I am not too afraid to admit I have a huge crush on that blue smoker.
Yeah, well, it's probably going to go back to how it used to be. It's going to come off a trailer that I trialed. It was going to be a cartridge slide out trailer. Just not happy with it, so I haven't really posted many photos up of it. It stayed pretty off social media, but I'm going to go back to the old traditional ones that I make. They're so much better. They've got so much more appeal to me and the retro sort of style.
You're listening to the internationally awarded Smoking Hot Confessions podcast with massive barbecue nerd Ben Arnott.
Alrighty, so now we're into the lesson part of our episode, the part where we get to share some wisdom with the listeners and the viewers. And given that you're a master pit builder, I thought we might have a bit of a chat about building pits. How about that?
Yeah, we can do that.
Awesome. So I guess because we have a lot of DIY listeners and viewers of this show, I guess where do you start in terms of design?
I'm probably a little bit not on the computer side. There's a few guys that do the computer. I see the calculation ones out there. There's a Feldon's calculator and the Smoker Pit Builder calculator. They're all right, but they don't take into account a lot of other factors like material thicknesses and, even the wind on a day can change how a smoker runs. So sort of I pick a cook chamber first and then I will go and find the correct pipe because I do insulated fireboxes now, so a round piece of pipe with a square box around it. So I actually go and find what I need to suit the cook chamber and then I'll go and suit a chimney. I normally make my chimneys a little bit longer because it'll draw a little bit harder, so then I'll cut them down to where they need to be.
Yeah, right. Now, so the Feldon's calculator in that, is that the size of the firebox to the size of the cooking chamber?
Cook chamber to the size of the chimney. It's all they give you. They say it was a third to a quarter the size of your cook chamber should be your firebox. I've proved that to be wrong many times. But at the end of the day, sometimes my cook chambers are 10 to 12 mil thick. They may be making that on 3 to 6 mil thick material. The thicker material holds its heat longer, and then when it's insulated firebox is completely different again as well. And how you do your chimney and everything, every time you change something little, it has an effect somewhere else.
Yeah, I can certainly understand that. So I guess then the next question that I have for you then, you mentioned insulated fireboxes there. I have seen yours before, and you did just mention it briefly. You like to do square fireboxes with a round sort of inner tube kind of thing.
I actually start with a piece of round pipe, a large piece of round pipe, and then I put a box around it while packing it full of insulation.
Why do you go for the 2 different shapes?
Ease of ability. It was more, it gets me the right sizes I wanted. I like the look of Moberg smoker over in America and Aaron Franklin smoker. So I actually merged I took bits and pieces I liked off both smokers. It really suits how I want to build. It makes me get a nicer flow to how I want them to sit. I normally make the box the same width as the cook chamber, where the firebox pipe's a little bit smaller. So obviously I can pack my insulation in there. Yeah,
right. Yeah. So I can certainly see how you'd be able to pack like a lot more insulation around in the corners than if you got a circle inside a square.
Yeah. And There's a fine line of putting too much in there as well. We did the one for Don's, the 900 gallon. That probably has a bit too much insulation in there. That one you can sit on top of the firebox while it's actually cooking and it doesn't get hot.
Okay, so why would that be a problem?
Well, it can be a problem with it will burn so clean. You'll get little. I know he gets a lot less bark in that one.
Oh, interesting.
So. He has commented he runs pecan in that one and a little bit of a dirty fire from time to time.
Right. Okay. So you've then got to try and go against your natural fire management techniques to sort of dirty it back up. Yeah.
Well, that one there, it's a huge, absolutely monster firebox. I probably went a little bit overboard, but it was going on a wooden deck, so we were going to make sure it didn't expel too much heat. It was in a commercial setting as well. It was just something I tried, and it's got great insulation. It means that the wood burns for a lot longer as well.
Yeah, right. And so what do you use as insulation? Is it just like a fire blanket?
It's a rock wool. And then I get different lagging as well. In the industry, I know some guys that do some lagging. So I can get insulation from them. I've used all sorts of different things, but I'm pretty set on what I use, and that's a bit of a secret of mine.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. All righty. I get that. Thank you for telling us as much as you have. Yeah. So we've talked about designs. You said that take a look at Moberg, take a look at Franklin, and you sort of put those two bits together. One of the things that I saw on yours was like a collection chamber at the end of the chimney there. So the chimney kind of doesn't come straight out the top of the cook chamber. It sort of goes across and then out.
Yeah, and that's the Aaron Franklin sort of style. He put in he did a little video series. That's how I started seeing how to build pits. Obviously over here in WA when I started, I didn't know anybody. I just saw the movie and that was it. And then I sort of researched and found his little video series and watched how to build pits from there. And that's how I do the hinges. We're similar to his. They don't run counterweights, but then obviously the more research you do, you find you do counterweights. And some of the doors I've made, if they didn't have a counterweight on it, you're not lifting it. They do get very heavy. I suppose you get big arms after a while, if that's what you want to do. But not for me. It's just the collector, it seems to work. He explains that it pulls across the grill a lot easier, a lot more even. And I suppose if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So when I started doing that, I've never done anything different.
And it would be hard to argue with advice like that from the man himself.
Pretty much. Well, I still idolize him. I still look up to him. He inspired me at the beginning, still does now.
Yeah, he's a very cool dude. So what tools would a backyard DIY person need then?
A welder and a grinder would get most of the work done. I actually found, because I build quite a few now, is I use a laser level for marking out my doors on the ones that projects the red line out. That really helped me marking out multiple doors, especially if you're going to do 4 doors all in a row and you want them all in line. Makes life a lot easier. But I used to oxy cut doors out. That doesn't work. Oh, it does, but it will buckle a door. Went to a plasma machine that can put too much heat into it. So I started with a grinder. I'm back using a grinder, cutting open doors.
Oh, like with a big old cutting disc?
Yeah, with a 1 mil cutting disc. That's still how I cut doors. I've got a little bit of a process to cut doors open. I don't let it get very hot. I take a lot of time cutting the doors because I rushed a few and they did bow. And then you've got to sit there and you've got to re-straighten a door.
That's got to be a pain.
Yeah, it takes up time. And when you're trying to do it as a business, you don't have time to sit there and do rework, so to speak, and fix things that you could have just taken a little bit more time at the beginning.
Yeah, that's definitely a good tip there for sure. Yeah. So I guess then, are you a reverse flow or a direct flow guy?
Direct flow only.
Direct flow only?
Yep.
Okay.
Not even interested in reverse flow.
Why is that?
I've used a few, and I'm just not a fan. Look, it's the old Holden versus Ford, isn't it? It's the traditional versus the reverse flow. A traditional guy is diehard through and through, and a reverse flow guy, he's diehard through and through as well, and you can't tell them no different. It always comes on just about every page. You see them argue against each other. I'm like, mate, if it works, it works. I'm a traditional man. I'm gonna stick with that.
Fair enough. Hard to argue with that. Now, I guess when it comes to materials, then what for someone in the backyard building their first offset smoker, what sort of thicknesses of material should they be looking for? What sort
look,
of
you don't want to go anything under 3 mil. Like your cheap barbecues around town are 3 mil sort of thick as they go. I like 6 mil. A lot of my barbecues now are running up at 10 mil. It's just what I've got access to. The customers love it too because it's a little bit thicker. They're gonna outlast them. The thicker the material, the more heat it's gonna hold. It's gonna help, especially if you got it in a stiff breeze. So that's just another reason we do the insulated fireboxes. I like a nice thick firebox. That'll hold its heat for a lot longer.
Yeah, I'm always really impressed when I go to these competitions and I see these guys with their insulated fireboxes. The Chris from Smoking Hot Bros recently sold his beautiful big trailer, but he used to run this huge trailer with this tiny little fire about the size of a soccer ball. It was just phenomenal.
And that's what I get back to with those calculators to say you got to have a firebox 1/3 the size of the cook chamber. That's cool, but we only got to run a tiny little fire in it if you've got it set up right. Like even my 750 gallon, I'm probably running the same size fire from a 250 gallon. But it's just the way I've got it set up. You don't need to go through a lot of extra wood for no extra gain.
Which in turn keeps your overheads down for your catering business and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, especially when you're buying wood 4 ton at a time.
Yeah, I'd imagine it would certainly become a big issue there pretty quickly. All right. So you mentioned something before that sort of sparked my interest there. You mentioned a slide-out cartridge on a trailer. What was that about?
I wanted to do something different, dare to be great, so to speak, something to stand out from the crowd. And I built a trailer where my 750 gallon actually sits in the middle traveling. And then when I get to where I'm going, it actually slides all the way out off the trailer without riggers. And then there was a big outdoor umbrella that would go over the top. Something a little bit different. I don't like it. My team likes it. Lots of other people like it. I actually don't like it, so I've kept it a little bit harsh on social media. I thought it was going to be good. I just didn't like it. So I'm going back to a traditional style trailer. So back how all the other ones I give my customers.
So what sort of inspired you to go that way? Was that because you didn't want to have a physical trailer on site, or was it just?
It was more for doing catering and service and stuff like that. I want a nice big stainless area. When you go to a catering, you've got to pack up and set up, and then you got to service. It's a lot of work. So we're trying to cut down on work. So we had all the stainless benches all put into it, and under counter fridges and all the wash up facilities. It was just trying to reduce it. It did what it needed to do. I still like the old traditional.
Fair enough. I'm starting to get that from you.
Very, very, very set in my ways, and yeah, my team always try and give me ideas, and I just no. So it's just, I suppose I'm a little bit stubborn in my ways.
Well, mate, that's why you're the boss. So look, that's probably a good point in the episode now for us to start to wrap things up. So I'm going to turn the studio over to you. Give some shout outs to who you want to give some thanks and some praise to, and tell everybody where they can track you down across your 3 different businesses across the multiple different social media platforms. Yeah,
well, you can find us on Southern Ocean Smokers on both Instagram and Facebook. Molly's Barbecue Smokehouse is our competition team. Again, Instagram and Facebook. Smash Daz Burger Co. is our catering. We go around and sell burgers. That's what we do. Definitely Ryan's Quality Meats has helped us out over here. They are really easy to work with. If we want something different, they do it. They help with our mince blend. We use El Granino rolls as well. That's another great small business over here. He listened. We wanted our rolls slightly a bit different than everyone else's, so we did it. Cool. He's also working on a new hoagie roll for our Philly cheese steaks. We did a trial the other week, and that came out really well. David Ong from that he helps. He's got Pitmaster University I help out with. He's been a great help. Really good supporter of everything we've done. He actually travels with us as well when we go to Caterer. We take Pitmaster University on the road. I've got Bundy, Leroy, Will and Ben on our team. They always help out, always come along to everything. I suppose my wife, who really kicked it all off for me buying my first smoker, it's actually all her fault that barbecue's taken over our lives. So I'll just make sure I get that. It's all the wife's fault. And then my kids who come and help out everywhere. Those guys are absolutely little champs. They come to comps, they come to catering gigs. They're just great little guys to come along and help me out.
That's beautiful, man. That's what it's all about. Barbecue is all about family first and foremost.
It is, and sharing the love. Like you'll see even my son who is autistic gets out there and talks with people and shares them and tells them, and this is how you do this. And then the younger one who does the competition side, he's out there talking to people about how to cook briskets and stuff like that, and shows that a 10-year-old can run a 750-gallon smoker. And he does that with ease as well. He's in there loading it with a shovel and he loves it. So it's definitely family for us with barbecue.
And some good entrepreneurial skills there too, like outside of just the cooking. Get out there with the crowd and spruik the crowd and get people interested and convert those sales.
Competitions. We have the People's Choice over here, so the tips for treats. So they get out and they love to spruik and come in, and it's a bit like an Italian fruit and veg market sometimes out there. They're all spruiking and having a real good time.
That's so cool. Yeah. All right. Look, I'm going to say thank you very much for your time. Thanks for coming on board the show. You're doing some great work over in WA, and I'm really looking forward to getting over there again. Yeah.
Hey, you got to come over soon. We're having a absolute fat time over here. I've been allowed to do competitions and have barbecue and do all the stuff we used to.
Alrighty, family, there you have it. That was Jason Molly Meldrum from Southern Ocean Smokers, from Smashed As Burger Co., and from BBQ University. I don't think there's a single angle that this guy isn't working on the barbecue scene, and it's pretty easy to see why he's such a pillar of the rapidly growing WA barbecue scene. So huge props to him. We heard all about the WA scene. We heard about his smoker business company and how he built that and how that's all come together. We talked about the Smashed As Burger Co. I don't know why I can't get that out of my mouth tonight. It's a bit late on a Sunday evening. And we talked about BBQ University working with the very famous Ongi as well. And then we closed out with some lessons on building your own pit. Now, I know that there's lots of you out there who do love to DIY some stuff. I've seen a lot of your photos pop up in our Smoking Hot Confessions barbecue community there on Facebook. So there was tons of great info in there from Jason for you about getting out there and building your own pits, and really try and do your best to get your family involved as well, because we know barbecue is a family affair. So that's all the time we have for this evening. If you're watching on Facebook, give this video a like and a share. If you're watching on YouTube, give it a thumbs up, a subscribe, and hit that little notification bell. IGTV, be a heart and a follow. And if you're listening on a podcasting app, do make sure you give us a 5-star rating and review. That really does help us out, and it tells the robot overlords that the show's good and they need to push it out to more people. So we do appreciate that, and thank you very much for your time as well. So until next time, take care of each other and keep on queuing.
Thanks for listening to the Smoking Hot Confessions podcast. Head on over to smokinghotconfessions.com for recipes, tips, and Ben's own confessions.